Hello and welcome to Unraveled with Marvi Sirmed. Today we cut through the chest thumping around the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in Tianjin and the Beijing Victory Day parade that followed. Three claims dominated Indian prime time: that this was a power huddle of Xi, Putin, Modi, that Pakistan's prime minister was ignored by Vladimir Putin, and that India's narrative on terrorism overwhelmed the summit. We will test these claims against what actually happened and what the Tianjin Declaration really said, and what the parade optics were meant to signal. Here are the anchors for our analysis. Number one, text over theater. The SCO communique condemned the April 22 Pahalgam attack in Indian-administered Kashmir and condemned two attacks in Pakistan. The Jaffar Express hijacking and the Khuzdar school bus bombing, both of them Pakistan actually blamed on India. That underscored the SCO's habit of balancing references to keep the forum cohesive. And we will deal with this topic again in a few minutes. Second is optic versus outcomes. There were handshakes and smiles among Xi, Putin, Modi, but India did not turn the summit into a tripolar alignment. Contrarily, Pakistan was there, and Pakistan was there with the bang. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif did meet Putin, and Putin, by the way, is India's very long-term friend, just like China is to Pakistan. Both sides, Russia and Pakistan, publicized the meeting, and wire photos captured the interaction. So that was there. Thirdly, we need to look at some of the attendance facts. Prime Minister Modi attended the two-day summit that was in August 31 to September 1. He departed on September 1. He did not attend the September 3 victory parade in Beijing. There was some fake news around it. We will deal with that in a few minutes as well. So Pakistan's prime minister did attend both the days, followed by the military parade. And he did it with high-tier protocol. And Pakistan's army chief, Asim Munir, met Xi Jinping and was slated for the parade as well. And fourthly, beyond South Asian scorekeeping is also a world, and we will look at that. What did China signal by pairing the SCO with an 80th anniversary military parade? How did Trump and Europe react? What is the real impact on tariff politics, supply chain, and the shifting world order? So let's dive in. Let's start with the document, not the noise. The Tianjin Declaration did what the SCO usually does. It names everyone's pain to keep everyone in the tent. It explicitly condemned the Pahalgam attack and, in the same breath, condemned the Jaffar Express and Khuzdar attacks in Pakistan, complete with the accountability language and perpetrators. Organizers, sponsors, all must be brought to justice. That all was there. So may I remind you here that the Pahalgam attack was also condemned by Pakistan, but the Jaffar Express and Khuzdar attacks in Pakistan were not condemned by India. So this is the first time that India has signed on a document that condemns these attacks in Pakistan, but this is not the first time that Pakistan has condemned Pahalgam attack. So I leave it at there. That's not I won't say that's an Indian win or Pakistani win. It's a SCO's institutional design. And this balancing isn't accidental. It flows from the SCO's regional anti-terrorist structure, RATS, the standing mechanism that standardizes counterterrorism coordination across a politically diverse bloc. RATS is the reason leaders can agree to parallel condemnations without turning the communique into a bilateral slugfest. It's the pressure valve that keeps the SCO functional even when Pakistan and India are trading barbs. Think of RATS as the quiet clearinghouse where the three evils, terrorism, separatism, extremism, are processed into shareable language. We will talk in detail about what the declarations say. We will analyze the entire declaration point by point in our next episode. So please tune in for that as well. But now, for now, the politics of it, the optics of it. Yes, we all saw the long handshakes, the staged laughter, the camera-friendly choreography of Xi, Putin, Modi, but the substance did not match the spin. If this were a power huddle, as my Indian colleagues claim, and you know, they're repeatedly saying this, on loop in their shows, power huddle, power huddle, power huddle. But if this was a power huddle, India would have walked away with text tilted solely toward Pahalgam. It didn't. Pakistan's references made it in too, including Khuzdar and attack in Islamabad, explicitly linked to India in its domestic discourse, and which international wise reported as a deadly strike on a school bus in Balochistan. So, what about the viral Indian clips claiming Putin ignored Shehbaz Sharif? Primary sources and wires uh, don't support that, this narrative. The Kremlin and global outlets have noted brief talks in Tianjin. Pakistan's Dawn newspaper ran photos of a formal sit down in Beijing. The multiple videos captured cordial exchanges between Putin and Sharif. A snub, this was not. This was not an ignoring act. And while we're on misinformation, another claim has circulated. Now, this time from some Pakistani commentators and outlets that an official Chinese Foreign Ministry statement listed all leaders by name, but deliberately omitted Narendra Modi, referring only to India's representative. We checked this thoroughly. There is no official record to back it. On the contrary, reliable outlets like Al Jazeera and even the SCO's own listings clearly name Prime Minister Modi as attending. In other words, this too appears to be disinformation, just like the edited Putin clip, underscoring why our analysis must rest on verifiable text and authentic footage, not partisan spin. So now let's go back to our analysis points. So come back to attendance. Let's be precise. Modi attended this summit, arrivals, reception, and the September 1 leaders session. Then flew home on September 1. He skipped the September 3 parade in Beijing. Meanwhile, Shehbaz Sharif attended and received front rank protocol among foreign guests, and Field Marshal Asim Munir met Xi Jinping and was listed to attend the parade with the Pakistani delegation. Now, these are verifiable facts, not partisan talking points. So, who gained what? China gained most, I think. Hosting the SCO and then staging the 80th anniversary Victory Day parade allowed Beijing to merge process with pageantry, institution building at Tianjin, and system signaling in Beijing. The message was twofold. China had uh, China had shown that it can convene an ideologically mixed room, that is SCO, and choreograph a show of military modernity with Putin and Kim flanking Xi. Western leaders largely stayed away. The global South did not. That's the optics Beijing wanted. Russia used Tianjin and Beijing to underscore that it is not isolated in Asia. The optics of Xi, Putin, Kim at Tiananmen were powerful for domestic consumption and for messaging to Washington and Brussels. Moscow also teased progress on energy connectivity again through though I mean its details are, still fuzzy, and experts are skeptical about timelines on projects like Power of Siberia too. Uh, India achieved a textual inclusion, Pahalgam, important for its domestic narrative. It also persuaded uh, calibrated bilaterals with Xi and Putin while avoiding the Beijing parade optics 2 days later. That was likely informed by US tariff pressure and the need to keep doors open in Washington, even as Delhi hedges in Tianjin. In other words, bounded hedging, not block switching. So it's a long way from that, as of now. Talking about Pakistan, Pakistan chalked up two quiet but concrete wins. The Jaffar Express and Khuzdar references in the declaration, um, signed by India also, and a publicized meeting with Putin alongside top-tier parade protocol. Add Asamuni's meeting with Xi and a planned attendance at the parade, and Islamabad demonstrated that even amid economic strain, it retains security track leverage with Beijing and usable lines into Moscow. Now, looking at the wider world, in Washington, the reaction came with tariff and tough talk. The White House's tariff policy has already strained US India ties. Trump's commentary on the parade cast Xi Putin Kim as, um, you know, conspiring against the US, reinforcing a public narrative of confrontation. That framing, in turn, nudges India to hedge harder in forums like the SCO, even if Delhi cannot afford to alienate US tech and capital inflows. In Europe, EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaya Kallas called the Xi Putin Kim tableau a direct challenge to the rules based order, an unusually blunt assessment that signals a harder European line on export controls and de risking, even as some EU capitals keep commercial channels with China. How does this affect tariffs and supply chains? First, uh, expect tariff linked bargaining to intensify. The more Washington leans on India, the more Tianjin style platforms look useful as transactional hedges, not to switch camps, but to widen options on energy, payments, and logistics. Second, watch for selective India China de escalation on trade facilitation. Even as the border mistrust persists, because bounded relief with China can soften tariff pain without provoking a rupture with the US. Third, Russia's Asia play will continue to look symbolically strong and substantively uneven. Pipeline timelines and energy contracts remain the test. And finally, a word about narratives. Indian television's power huddle spin overreads the optics. Pakistani social media's And Indian social media's claim of a Putin snubbing Pakistan ignores the record and fits into the misinformation, as is Pakistani social media, going round and round with the fake news and misinformation about Modi, Prime Minister Modi of India, not named in the official statements from China. That was not true. Another rumor that uh, went viral in Pakistan was Mr. Modi was not even invited in the military parade. That's not true. We have tried to verify this, and it turns out that he, um, independent sources in addition to Indian media. I do not rely on Indian media when it comes to this kind of news, but the other sources, international media, Al Jazeera, they every international media that I checked, uh, it did not verify or endorse the fact. Actually, some of them reported that Modi refrained from watching the military parade on its own. So it was India's choice not to attend, not that China did not invite it. So there were a lot of you know, false claims and propaganda going on both sides. Um, India was louder, although. Uh, and this new chatter about the Chinese statement omitting Modi, I mean, this falls apart. I mean, omitting Modi and Modi not being invited to military falls apart. Completely falls apart on verification. The artifact that endures is the communique, and it carried both sides' references precisely because China prefers the SCO to absorb disputes, not arbitrate them. That is the core of how Tianjin worked, how SCO works. So, where does this leave us? For China, Tianjin plus Beijing showcased a confident convener and choreographer of multipolarity. For Russia, it was sanctions resilience theater with real diplomatic dividends in Asia. For India, it was a managed performance, textual win, mainly for its domestic audience, calibrated optics, and room to hedge amid US tariff heat. For Pakistan, it was measurable protocol and textual outcomes that quietly puncture the ignored narrative. The SCO does not resolve India Pakistan disputes, it contains them. Its power lies in procedural inclusion and institutional muscle memory. RATs, statements, roadmaps that keep a very mixed house under one roof. As tariffs bite and supply chains rewire, Tianjin 2025 is a snapshot of the thickening multipolar middle. States widening options without formal block jumps, optics threaded to carefully drafted text. If you watch the handshakes but ignore the paragraphs, you will miss the story for sure. That's all for tonight's Unraveled. Subscribe, share, and tell us in the comments. Was Tianjin a turning point for India or Pakistan, or was it China's steady hand reminding everyone who writes the script? Have a good one.